Some breaking news that China might be invading Taiwan, and they're using the Iran war as cover. Well, today, thousands of Chinese ships sailed into the Strait of Taiwan, and they blocked Taiwan in. And this is exactly what China would do if they were preparing to invade Taiwan. The report said, quote, experts could tell something unusual is underway. According to reports, possibly 2,000 small Chinese fishing vessels are surrounding Taiwan as I tell you this. But something important, due to the war in Iran, the US has diverted all of their military assets to the Middle East, and China now is undefended. And for a long time, it's always been said that if a war started in the Middle East, China would jump on it as an opportunity to invade Taiwan, simply because there'd be no backlash. There's no one left to defend Taiwan now. In fact, in the last few days, the US has removed the only American THAAD air defense system, worth over $1 billion, from South Korea. That system would be vital in trying to defend Taiwan if a war started. And so all of this combined with today, these thousands of Chinese ships now surrounding Taiwan mean that in the next few days, there is reports China might be preparing to invade Taiwan. Now, I do want to give you the other side, and that's my opinion, actually. I don't think China will ever invade Taiwan. I don't think it's worth the war. I don't think Taiwan would go down without a fight. There's two main political parties in Taiwan, the pro-China and pro-Taiwan party, and I think China just wants economic control. And so I think China's going to lobby the pro-China party enough, and I think they'll win the next election. And as soon as that happens, the pro-China party will give China everything they've wanted anyway. And so I think that will be the way China gets control of Taiwan without the military way, which would kill a lot of people. There's no point in taking an island after you've carpet bombed it. I think China knows that. And so I don't think they will invade, but reports say they're preparing to. However, I will keep you up to date on all the global news that you won't hear about anywhere else. And so leave me a follow because I cover things you won't find out. Is allowing Chinese ships to sail through the Strait of Hormuz, and other ships are disguising themselves as Chinese to be able to pass through. In the last 48 hours alone, at least 8 cargo ships and oil tankers have changed their names to names such as owned by China, China owner, related to China, etc., in order for them to be allowed to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. If you don't know, China is one of the only countries in the world which Iran is allowing their oil tankers to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. Also in the last 2 weeks, China has imported over 11.6 million barrels of Iranian oil, which is something no other country is doing. And so Iran is allowing Chinese ships and Chinese-related ships to pass through the Strait of Hormuz without the risk of being blown up, but every other country's ship will be attacked. Now, because of this, many ships in the Persian Gulf that wish to pass through the Strait of Hormuz are trying to tell Iran that they're related to China by changing their name to China owner, etc. And to be fair, Iran is allowing them to pass. In the last 48 hours, as I said, at least 8 ships have successfully passed through the Strait of Hormuz, and they're all Chinese. Now, it is worth knowing it's not only China Iran is allowing to pass through, because India seems to have signed a deal with Iran too. In the last week, at least 4, maybe 6 Indian oil tankers have passed through the Strait of Hormuz to sail around to India. It appears India has either paid Iran or they're buying Iranian oil. We don't know. But still, this shows Iran is allowing only certain countries to pass through the Strait of Hormuz, providing they work with Iran and support Iran. And the fact that some ships are even changing their name to tell Iran that they're owned by China proves that even more. And this is something we actually had to investigate. We went over the maps of the last week to find out exactly what ships pass through. And so that's why this is something nobody else will cover. So leave me a follow for some more investigative journalism like this.